Hello, this is Business News Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studios in Lagos. Coming up, House of Representatives summons the Acting Director General of the Industrial Training Fund. President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, paints a gloomy picture of Africa's economy. Petroleum tanker drivers accuses politicians of hijacking 621 billion naira for the rehabilitation of 21 critical highways. A billion-year-old black diamond, believed to be the world's largest cut diamond, sold for 3.16 million. Hello again and glad to have you join us. I'm Michael Nath. Now I'll begin with the National Assembly, where the Senate has passed for second reading the Pension Reform Act 2014 Amendment Bill 2022, which seeks to make funds in the retirement savings account under the contributory pension scheme more easily accessible to retirees. The bill was sponsored by Senator Aliyu Wamako. Leading the debate on the general principles of the bill, Wamako said the proposed amendments to the Pension Reform Act 2014 were to provide for a definite and reasonable percentage of retirees can withdraw from their retirement savings accounts. According to him, the proposals of the bill seek to also provide succor to retirees in the delay and other difficulties they stumble upon in withdrawing their savings from the RSA. The lawmaker, a former governor of Sokoto State, decried the inability of pensioners to access their benefits after service, which he said had resulted in their suffering and in most cases led to eventual and untimely deaths. Wamako explained that the Act in Section 7, subsection 1A was amended in the bill to allow retirees to withdraw 75% of their benefits. Now, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts are summoned the Acting Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Adeshola Taiwo, over the operation of the agency's budgets between 2018 and 2021 without the approval of the National Assembly. At its investigative hearing on Wednesday, the committee vowed to probe into how the ITF operated over the years without a budget appropriated by the National Assembly, contrary to Section 81 of the 1999 Constitution. The chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, ordered an immediate probe, directing the panel's clerk to write and request evidence how the ITF convened its annual budgets for the 3 years under review, from the clerk to the National Assembly and the clerk to the House of Representatives. The committee discovered that extra budgetary spending while grilling the management of the ITF, which was placed on status inquiry by the committee. Still in the National Assembly, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Government Affairs, Akin Alabi, says international betting companies operating in Nigeria must pay tax to the Nigerian government. Alabi, owner of an online betting company, NairoBet, said this in Abuja on Wednesday at the public hearing organized by the committee on two bills. According to the lawmaker, there should be no quarrel over whether the gaming industry should be controlled by the federal or state governments. He therefore urged all stakeholders to work together and make it work. Now, against the backdrop of the Central Bank of Nigeria's plan to unveil a new FX bidding regime to support Nigerian companies in need of forex, an expert has noted that Nigeria doesn't have a problem of policy formulation, but of implementation. Chartered accountant Olusegun Okunade stated this earlier on iBrandTV's Business Breakfast show.
It's actually a good step in the right direction, but I always have problem with some of our policies. There has been a series of inconsistency when it comes to implementation. Before now, we've had series of policies that we expect while implementing should be favorable. But you discover that because we hardly punish people when there are deviants in implementation of policy, we go back to status quo and we review another policy. We have more than enough policies on ground that can drive this foreign exchange, considering the fact that it plays a major role in the development of an economy. Come to think about it, the reason why foreign exchange keeps going on is practically we produce nothing. When I mean nothing, I don't know. The only thing I can consider being produced in this country is, as we speak, is crude oil. And even the refined product, where do we get it from? We sell the crude oil out and bring in the processed product. And you can imagine if some of those things are being processed locally here. I can tell you, as we call ourselves the giant of Africa, definitely we have network of countries that we can plug in some of the refined product to, and that will definitely ease the pressure that we have on our foreign exchange. I feel the first step we need to take is self-sufficiency by discouraging more of importation. What do I mean? Every arm that we need to talk about. How do we promote locally made products? With that, we are circulating our currency within the system without having any influence from the external world. Because as soon as we allow the external world, which is importation, to thrive, it brings more problem for us. And it's not only in the area of manufacturing. It goes to the health sector. When you leave this country to go out for medical checkup, you don't pay naira, you pay in dollars.
The Petroleum Tanker Drivers Branch of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers on Wednesday threatened to begin a sudden national strike to protest the failure of the federal government to fix 21 selected highways based on agreement reached by stakeholders. Also, the drivers, under the endorsement of Nupeng, stated that they had discovered that senior government officials were currently diverting the 621 billion naira provided by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited for the rehabilitation of the identified federal highways. PTD National Chairman Simon Oladiti told journalists in Abuja that the union was about going on strike in September last year, but it was prevailed upon by NNPC after the oil firm and the Federal Executive Council approved the 621 billion naira for the roads rehabilitation. He said NNPC called the leadership of the union for two separate meetings held on October the 10th, 2021 in Ibadan, and October the 12th, 2021 in Abuja. Oladiti noted that nothing had been done on all the 21 roads since last October, added that the union would proceed on sudden strike if the roads were unattended to. Now, consumers of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, are allegedly arresting workers and owners of filling stations over the sale of adulterated products that have reportedly affected their vehicles' engines. Now, speaking on the attacks on filling stations by motorists, the President of Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gillis Harry, said the situation grew worse on Wednesday. It was also learned that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited might face litigation, especially if owners of filling stations find it difficult to manage the pressure from petrol users. This came as a major oil marketer explained that methanol was prohibited in petrol imported into Nigeria, contradicting the position of the federal government on the acceptability of methanol in PMS. Also, the NNPC, through its spokesperson, Garba Dean Mohammed, said on Wednesday that the oil firm had released products to help reduce the queues seen in Abuja and other parts of the country. Gilly Harris confirmed, saying that customers who have problems with the products they bought and are using our retail outlet owners are also arresting retail outlet owners and not the NNPC. But obviously, it will still get to them, that NNPC, if we cannot resolve it.
All PMS imports to Nigeria, the cargoes were equally certified by inspection agent appointed by the midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority as products that met Nigerian specification. It is important to note that the usual quality inspection protocol employed in both load port in Belgium and our discharge ports in Nigeria do not include the test for percentage of methanol content, and therefore additive was not detected by our quality inspectors. In order to prevent the distribution of the petrol, we have ordered the quarantine of all unevacuated volumes.
Now, residents and motorists in Lagos State, one of the nation's biggest commercial cities, are contending with artificial scarcity of petroleum products. Aiboje Ikoria reports that the week, which began with some level of anxiety and confusion, continues to bite harder as the scarcity affects business activities.
The panic buy of fear, which began this week, continued as unusual long queues of vehicles were witnessed at some filling stations in Lagos State. Most of the first stations visited in the metropolis said they were without supply.
We are not major marketers. We sell at the rate of 165 per litre, and that is what we have been selling ever since. So the price has not increased, neither we increase our own price. We sell at the price that we bought it. It's actually from where they are bringing the fuel, probably from the depot, and it's affecting other major marketers. So it's not really affecting us here. And that's why we are seeing all this crowd, because they are scared of buying other products. Even some customers, they come around, they ask me if it's affecting us, and I let them know that this is not affecting us in any way. Because I cannot dispense water into their car, because it's going to be a damage to us, and it's going to dent our own image here.
The estimated 15.3 million people and over 5 million cars and 200,000 commercial vehicles in the state may now have to struggle to get the product. Some residents spent longer period on the queues trying to get the product, a situation some say is affecting the economy negatively.
It's affecting my business, it's affecting my work, my ability to function effectively, it's affecting everybody, I think. So I think the government should try to look into it and make sure that this scarcity is resolved as soon as possible. Because I tell you, the economy is suffering. The economy is suffering for it.
We must break it down to the individual. If the individual, like I come out here, I waste working hours here, and other people come out, waste working hours here, and this thing would reduce our productivity in the long run. So I think it's not nice. It's not very good for us. And I don't know what the problem is, but I hope it's addressed quickly.
Some motorists and commuters who lamented the overbearing hardship of the situation said the necessary actions are not taken. It will further increase inflation in the country.
Apparently somebody somewhere has slept, collected money, and at the end of the day sent something into the society that you don't even care how it's going to affect people. Some people's car may never be the same again as a result of this bad fuel that got into the society. So it's a sad one. It's a sad narrative. We hope that in a short time that this will be over, because nobody wants to be coming your time. I should be in the office now.
The federal government recently said adulterated fuel, which are outside the official specification of Nigeria's petrol, was imported to the country, and that NNPC is currently doing a product tracing to curtail the harmful implication in the market. Aiboje Ikoria, reporting for iBrandTV News.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced on Wednesday that the income generated from the sales of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, from August 2020 to August 2021 was 2.61 trillion naira. He said that in the downstream oil sector, a total of 1.532 billion liters of white products were sold and distributed by the Petroleum Products Marketing Company, a subsidiary of NNPC, in the month of August 2021. He said a breakdown of the figure indicated that the petrol accounted for 99% of total sales, while automotive gas oil, known as diesel, accounted for the rest. Now, domestic airline operators are groaning over an astronomical increase in the price of aviation fuel, also called Jet A1. The price of the commodity has increased from 190 naira per litre to 400 naira per litre in the last 1 year. The hike, which translates to over 110.5% in the price of the commodity, according to airlines, is having a negative impact on their operations, especially in the costs component in fixing airfares. Addressing reporters yesterday in Lagos, Chairman Chief Executive Officer of United Nigeria Airlines, Obiora Okonkwo, said running airlines business under such a cost arrangement is increasingly becoming unprofitable. He said the current cost regime, where aviation fuel constitutes between 30 to 40% of the cost components, puts pressure on airlines to adjust the airfares to enable them run a cost recovery operation. And now Africa business news. The African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and the African Export-Import Bank yesterday in Cairo signed an agreement on the management of the AFCFTA Adjustment Fund, ADF, that would require $10 billion over the next 5 years to 10 years. The base fund is a facility that would support African countries to cope with the loss of revenues from import tariffs on the private sector to effectively participate in the new trading environment established under the AFCFTA. Already, Afrexim Bank has committed $1 billion towards the ADF, which is made up of a base fund, a general fund, and a credit fund. The AFCFTA Secretariat and the Afrexim Bank stated that the base fund would consist of contributions from state parties, which are AFCFTA member countries, grants and technical assistance funds to address tariff revenue losses as tariffs are progressively eliminated. Now, President of the African Development Bank, AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has painted a gloomy picture of Africa, saying dwindling economic fortunes in 2020 resulted in a 165 billion naira decline in the country's gross domestic product, GDP. Adesina said in the same year, over 30 million jobs were lost, while 26 million persons fell into extreme poverty. The former Minister of Agriculture made the assertions in a paper titled Mobilizing Financing for Africa's Accelerated Economic Recovery, Development and Integration, which he delivered to African leaders at the 35th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital. Adesina warned against outsourcing Africa's security of foreigners, as he stressed the need for Africa to protect African lives by investing in healthcare infrastructure and vaccine manufacturing. A significant increase in prices associated with housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel, 28.7%, as well as transport, 17.4%, has pushed the rate of inflation for January 2022 to 13.9%. This is captured in the Consumer Price Index CPI data for January 2022 released by the Ghana Statistical Service. The rate is 1.3% points higher than the 12.6% recorded in December 2021. Speaking at a press conference, the government statistician, Professor Samuel Anim, highlighted the impact of the increases in core influences had on the increase in the overall inflation rate for the first month of 2022. The rise in the inflation rate for January 2022 is the highest recorded since the Ghana Statistical Service rebased the Consumer Price Index in August 2019. Now, foreign scene. A billion-year-old black diamond, believed to be the world's largest cut diamond, has sold for £3.16 million, or 4.3 million euros. Now, named the Enigma, in the 555.55 carats gem, which weighs about the same as banana, had been expected to fetch more than £4.4 million in the online auction. Auctioneer Sotheby's said the buyer has opted to use cryptocurrency for the purchase. There are competing theories about the origins of the stone, including that it was carried to Earth by an asteroid. Sotheby's did not identify the purchaser, but after the auction, cryptocurrency entrepreneur Richard Harrod took to social media to claim that he was the buyer of the Enigma. He told his more than 180,000 Twitter followers that as soon as the payment gone through and possessions been taken, the gem would be renamed the Hex.com Diamond in reference to the blockchain platform he founded. Uber's business is showing signs that it's moving past the pandemic slowdown. The company reported Wednesday that its revenue grew 83% year-over-year to $5.8 billion in the final 3 months of 2021 as people increasingly turned to its ride-hail platform to get around and ordered food through its delivery service. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said the results also show how eager people are to move around cities as restrictions ease and how delivery has become an important part of daily living. Khosrowshahi acknowledged the surge in COVID cases from the Omicron variant did begin affecting its business in late December, but as I said, its ride-hailing business is already starting to bounce back. Now, Turkey's main opposition party leader said late on Wednesday he would not pay his electricity bills until President Tayyip Erdogan withdraws recent price increases. As signs of discontent over surging inflation emerged across the country. In January, inflation jumped to nearly 50% after a currency crash late last year, triggered by Erdogan's unorthodox low-interest rate policy, raising the cost of living for Turks already struggling to make ends meet. In response, the government has raised the minimum wage by 50%, but also increased the prices of gas, power, petrol, and road tolls to account for import price volatility. Electricity prices were raised by as much as 125% for high-demand commercial users and by around 50% for lower-demand households at the beginning of January. And now, let's link up with Margaret for more news updates after this commercial break.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners. Best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemivy family.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
You sabi cook the banga. You no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga efo riro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming true unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your true unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide. Thank you, Michael Nat. The House of Representatives has declared a national emergency on ritual killings in the country and also called on the National Orientation Agency, parents, heads of schools, religious leaders and media to undertake the campaign to change the negative narrative that was already prevailing in the society. The House also called on the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, to take urgent steps to increase surveillance and intelligence gathering with a view to apprehending and prosecuting all perpetrators of ritual killings in Nigeria. Importantly, it called on the Executive Director, National Film and Video Censors Board to rise to the mandate of the agency as a clearinghouse for all movies produced in the country. The resolutions of the lawmakers followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Toby Okichukwu, at the plenary on Wednesday. Now, federal and state universities chapters of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have insisted that they will mobilize their members for a nationwide industrial action to protest federal government failure to honor agreements reached since 2009. This was disclosed in a statement issued by ASU Chairman, University of Ilorin, Professor Ajao Moyosore. The union declared February 9, 2022 as a work-free day for members of the union and the branch, insisting that no member will undertake any official assignment for the day. Also, the Ambrose Ali University Ekpoma chapter of the ASU advised that the only way to avert the nationwide strike and grounding of academic activities in the public universities was signed and implements the renegotiated 2009 FGN and ASU agreement. Similarly, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, University of Ibadan chapter on Wednesday said virtually every notable and important figure within and outside government circles are aware of its dilemma in ensuring compliance with an agreement reached with the federal government in December 2020. The chairman UI branch, Professor Ayola Akinwole, however, reiterated that the union has not called for strike either at the local or national levels, but is still exploring opportunities of interaction with stakeholders.
We are doing all this sensitization across various states and our branches to tell Nigerians ASU members do not want to go on strike. But the issue is clear. Federal government has turned deaf ears. They've turned themselves to mini-god, and we are saying we are not slaves in Nigeria. We are freeborn. We are a liberated and independent nation where we don't listen to the weak and caprice of the Bretton Woods institution. ASU doesn't like to go on strike, but if push come to shove, the union will take a decision that will push home the demands for the welfare of our members.
We are tired of people telling us that our products have bake or don't bake at all. We are tired of telling the world that the knowledge we are imparting are not qualitative. And that's why we are telling government to actually produce a conducive environment so that we won't continue to produce half-baked bread. We want to impart qualitative knowledge, because that is what the university systems are established for. But government is actually, they are actually designing us from doing that.
Now away from that, the crisis in the All Progressive Congress APC Oyo State took a turn for the worse on Wednesday as major stakeholders under the urges of APC Ibadan City and Outer City Forum unanimously rejected Isaac Omudewu as chairman of the party in the state. Arising from a joint meeting, leaders of the two major zones condemned the inauguration of Honorable Isaac Omudewu as the state chairman.
For everybody to know, Oyo State APC has elected, the leaders generally has elected and appointed, not only appointed, has elected Abuba Damonsi as the state chairman of APC.
National Caretaker Committee deny know anything about the Congress. The October 30 Congress, they deny know anything about it. They deny sending anybody to conduct any Congress in Oyo State. And they apologize that we should not be annoyed.
As imposed on us from Abuja, we did not have any intention of even putting Yomade with them. Our choice is Abu
Oyo State Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde set to rename the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, to Ladoke Akintola University, LAU. This was made known by the Oyo State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Oyelowo Oyewo, SANY, briefing newsmen in Ibadan, Oyo State.
Specifically, the university is to be known as Ladoke Akintola University, aka LAU University. So the law will be Ladoke Akintola University Law, Amendment Law 2022. And that is what has been approved by ESCO to be communicated to the State House of Assembly for debate, processing, and passing into law.
Ladoke Akintola University of Technology will be amended to reflect a new status, which will showcase a conventional nature of the university in such a manner that will open wider door for our students who have passed out from secondary schools to gain admissions into other disciplines apart from the technical ones.
Now, as Nigerians prepare for the 2023 general election, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has disclosed that the state will only support a candidate that can guarantee the safety of its people who have suffered several years of insecurity and neglect. Governor Ortom made this known when presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, paid him a visit in Makurdi.
Fulani is a Fulani man, whether he's from Niger, whether he's from Mali, or from wherever he may be, is a Fulani man. This was my own point of view. And that was the governor's also point of view. We said, look, we had the best of times in this country. Like he said, during the administration of a Fulani president in Shehu Shagari, during the administration of Umaru Yaradua, a Fulani, and so on and so forth. I said, quite understandably so. And I also recall in my early days as Zege Mule Otif, when there was a conflict here between the local Fulanis here and the Tiv people, I was the one who came and became part of the reconciliation process here in Makadi.
In the past, Shagari was president of this country. He was a full-fledged Fulani man from the Caliphate. And in Benue State alone, we had 3 ministers, several other ambassadors, and several other appointments. And we related very well. Our people were very happy. We had no issue. And so it's not about Fulani being against us. Then Yaradua came. The same Fulani man, incidentally, from Katsina State. A great man. God did not permit him, but we saw a visionary leader in Yaradua. Within that little time that he stayed, and a couple of times that some of us had privilege to meet with him, we saw that he meant well.
Stakeholders at the 23rd Founders Day of the Lagos State University College of Medicine in Ikeja has emphasized the need for government and private organizations to invest more in the medical sector to reduce medical tourism amongst Nigerians. iBrandTV senior reporter Aiboje Ikwarya reports that the medical experts also called for more funding for the medical sector in the nation's budget.
According to a review of the central bank's balance of payment data, Nigerians have spent the sum of $11.01 billion on health-related services abroad over the past 10 years. Medical practitioners from different areas of the sector coming together not just to x-ray the industry's performance and growth, but to improve the sector. Permanent Secretary, Parastatus Monitoring Office, pharmacist Toyin Tolu, said the COVID-19 pandemic revealed the lapses in the medical sector in the country. Hence, government is doing its best to put the sector in place.
A lot of money is being invested in health because College of Medicine is all about training doctors and other allied health professionals. Definitely. The Lagos State government has invested a lot and is still investing. Like you said, COVID has opened our eyes to a lot of things.
While commending the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for his continued investment in the medical sector, Acting Provost Lagos State University College of Medicine, Professor Mobalaji Oludara, said more still needed to be done in the sector. Other practitioners said, though the health sector is not for profit making, but to save lives, but agreed that more investment is needed to grow the sector to an enviable height.
Yeah, we must give kudos to all the successive governments in Lagos State. We must say that they have been very kind to us, very supportive. If you look back, if you take a tour around the whole college, you will see all the evidences there, the structures, the people, the number of staff, quality staff for that matter. So we can say clearly that the government has been supportive. But of course, in any dynamic institution that wants to go for more greatness. There's always room for more because this is medicine, very capital intensive, dentistry, very capital intensive, and other courses. We want to even have 2 more faculties, Faculty of Pharmacy, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, so they will still beg for more. But I believe the government will help us.
In terms of research, our College of Medicine is one of the best that we have in Nigeria and also in Africa. In terms of research, we're doing a lot of research. It's on record that we are the first medical institution to ever do open heart surgery, and also the first institution to ever do COVID-19 tests.
Nigerians spent $11.01 billion on health expenses abroad between 2011 and the first quarter of 2021, recording the highest in 2019 with $2.56 billion for health expenses. Igboji Horia, reporting for iBrandTV News.
And moving on, the United Nations has said $1.1 billion will be needed in 2022 to undertake humanitarian assistance in the troubled Northeast. The United Nations will reveal that an estimated 8.4 million people will require humanitarian assistance in Northeast Nigeria in the course of the year, lamented that the total number of those displaced in the 12-year crisis in the geopolitical zone has risen to over 2.2 million. Speaking on Wednesday during the launch of the Nigerian Humanitarian Response Plan 2022, the United Nations President and Humanitarian Coordinator ad interim for Nigeria, Matthias Kamali, lamented that the conflict in Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states has evolved into an alarming humanitarian and protection crisis, disproportionately affecting women and girls. He said $1.1 billion is therefore needed to provide critical aid and services to 5.5 million people who are most affected by the crisis. We'll take a commercial break now. We'll be back after the short break. And on the African scene, a Sutherland struck Libyan Prime Minister's car with bullets early on Thursday, but he escaped unharmed. A source close to him said amid intense factional wrangling over control of the government. The source said the incident happened as the Biba was returning home, describing it as a clear assassination attempt, but the attacker fled and the incident had been referred for investigation. It confirmed an attempt to assassinate the Biba could aggravate the crisis over control of Libya after he said he would ignore a vote scheduled by the Eastern-based parliament later on Thursday to replace him. Armed forces have mobilized more fighters and equipment in the capital over recent weeks, raising fears and political crisis could trigger fighting. Now, judges at the International Court of Justice on Wednesday ruled that Uganda must pay $325 million in reparations to the Democratic Republic of Congo for its role in conflicts in Congo's resource-rich Ituri province. Uganda must pay the sum of 5 yearly installments of $65 million to start in September of this year, presiding Judge Juan said. The total award is far short of over $11 billion Congo had asked for. The court dismissed several claims, including broad compensation for macroeconomic damage, saying a clear link between Uganda's actions and alleged economic damage was not shown. Away from that, the United States on Tuesday announced visa restrictions against current or former Somali officials and others accused of undermining the democratic process in Somalia for traveling to the U.S. The visa restrictions will apply to those who have encouraged and engaged in violence against protesters, intimidation of journalists and opposition members, and manipulation of electoral process, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a statement. Somalia, where no central government was held broad authority for 30 years, is in the midst of a protracted indirect election process to choose new leadership. The country has postponed elections since the mandate of President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed expired in February last year. And on the foreign scene, the U.S. government agencies that manage the preservation of presidential records has asked the Justice Department to investigate Donald Trump for his handling of official papers. U.S. presidents are required by law to transfer all of their work letters, work documents, and names emails to national archives. But officials said the former president illegally ripped up many documents. Some of them had to be tapped back together, and archives said. It has also emerged that 15 boxes of the papers that Mr. Trump should have turned over when he left the White House were instead taken to his home in Florida. Russia and Belarus have started 10 days of joint military drills amid ongoing fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. Belarus is a close ally of Russia and has a long border with Ukraine. The U.S. has called the drills believed to be Russia's biggest deployment to Belarus since the Cold War an escalatory move. Ukraine says they amount to psychological pressure. Russia has repeatedly denied any plans to invade Ukraine despite massing more than 100,000 troops at the border. And that's a wrap on the news update. My name is Margaret Opara. It's back to Michael Nat.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Coming up next is entertainment news with Chuma.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam. Disney Plus added 11.8 million subscribers last quarter to hit 129.8 million total, while Hulu nabbed 6.6 million subs to reach 45.3 million. Wall Street expectations were for revenue of $18.78 billion and EPS of $0.58, but Disney beat Wall Street expectations in its latest quarterly earnings report. The company reported revenue of $21.8 billion and net income of $1.1 billion, with earnings per share of $1.06. Hulu added 6.6 million subscribers to reach 45.3 million subs, likely driven by an aggressive Black Friday offer at a $1 per month rate. And ESPN Plus added 4.2 million subscribers to reach 21.3 million. Moving on, Moonbug Entertainment is expanding its footprint just after its $2.7 billion sale to Candle Media. The company is acquiring Little Angel, a YouTube network with more than 88 million subscribers, the company said on Wednesday. The terms of the deal were not disclosed. Little Angel will join Moonbug's other kids' properties, which include Coco Melon, Blippi, in the company's portfolio. Both have strong YouTube presence and have also expanded to paid streaming services. Candle has been aggressively making acquisitions and investments in recent months. Wednesday's Moonbug deal suggests that they expect the companies they acquire to continue their own development strategies as well. And that's it on Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam.
Thank you so much, Chioma. Coming up is sports news.
Connected fitness specialist Peloton has confirmed co-founder John Foley is to leave the company as part of a wide-ranging restructure that will see 2,800 job cuts as it adapts to lower demand in a post-lockdown world. Peloton manufactures high-end exercise bikes and treadmills supported by a highly integrated subscription service that includes social features and live instruction classes. Interest in its products increased significantly during the pandemic, with gyms closed and fitness classes suspended. However, the easing of lockdown restrictions has seen others decline and Peloton's market value fall from $50 billion to around $8 billion over the year. This has made the company an attractive target to suitors, with Amazon, Apple, and Nike all linked with a takeover and intensified investor discontent. In a bid to cut costs by up to $800 million and lay a foundation for long-term sustainable growth, Peloton says it will reduce its manufacturing footprint, outsource more of its delivery and distribution, and reduce its workforce. Of the 2,800 jobs at risk, around a fifth will be at a corporate level. Foley will remain as executive chair and will be replaced by former Spotify chief financial officer Barry McCarthy. And still talking sports business, Red Bull has signed a huge $695 million sponsorship deal, which will see its team name changed for the new Formula One season. The 5-year deal signed with Oracle means the team will be known as Oracle Red Bull Racing. According to the reigning Formula One champions, using the Oracle cloud infrastructure increased the number of strategy simulations run by over 1,000 times and improved accuracy by 10 times. The agreement with the US tech giant is one of the most lucrative in global sports, and Red Bull Christian Horner believes it comes at an ideal time because of the new season cost cap of $201 million for Formula One teams. And finally, on sports business at this hour, Tonal, known for its $2,995 at-home gym, is using a Super Bowl ad to make a point to women that they can use strength training equipment just like men. A new campaign starring tennis champion Serena Williams, who is an early Tonal investor, aims to debunk the idea that women will get very muscular if they lift heavy weights. The 30-second Super Bowl spot, which is Tonal's first to air during the big game, shows Serena Williams working out with Tonal's equipment while she says in voiceover, "Never be afraid of your strength because your body is capable of amazing things." The Super Bowl commercial is part of Tonal's Strength Made Me campaign, which celebrates women being strong both physically and mentally. Tonal's campaign will use digital spots over the coming months and feature other female athletes as well, such as Lindsey Horan and Simon Manuel. NBC has been charging as much as $6.5 million for 30-second ad spots for this year's Super Bowl game, which takes place on Sunday. By snagging a Super Bowl spot, Tonal is also focused on driving potential buyers to one of its brick-and-mortar locations where they can have a chance to try their equipment. Tonal has raised about $450 million to date. And that's it on Sports Business. I'm Samson Oleide.
Thank you very much, Samson. And that's it on Business News Now here from iBrandTV News Studios in Lagos. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Michael Nath.